Hey team, this is a topic dear to my heart. It's one that we discussed in our Leadership Live not so long ago, but leaders are brave enough to not worry about what people think. This is so hard, so hard, because we're responsible for so much and accountable to so many, and there are so many factors that jump in here. But let's talk about the qualities that you might need to be brave enough to not worry about what people think. A country leader met with a very small group of school leaders recently, and they were starting out on a new project and venturing into uncharted territories. And this country leader said to this group, I challenge you to disrupt education. What a mission, what a vision, and what an opportunity. But would you be brave enough to take this on? Like, where do you start and what would your priorities be? Two minds here, how exciting and how daunting. Of course, there are, all the normal norms of boundaries, outputs, KPIs, expectation. There's intense monitoring, continuous inspections, and progress reporting. They're all the norm. But you need to find teams that are pretty agile, and resilience and flex are on level extreme to take on this sort of work. Your communication skills are challenged to beyond reason and you fail often. Change leadership, not change management, change leadership. Strategic being, strategic thinking, everything is strategic, and adapting quickly are critical skills. The ability to fail, to analyse, to evaluate and to change course at speed is your daily life. Slow is not in your vocabulary. And all of that with a big dose of care. Firstly, what type of player do you need to have on your team or to add to your team? And then what type of leadership do you need? So your players, your team, you need people who are people smart. This comes back to Patrick Lencioni's work. A communicator who brings an understanding of people, a connector who builds relationships. Humble. Humble is trait number 2. And this goes for leaders and team players. There for the team, not about their ego and themselves, and has the skills to muck in and do what needs to be done. Goes outside of the brief, outside of the square, outside of the job description, to pull the team or the task through. And then hungry, wants to succeed, able to make mistakes and own them and learn from them, resilient enough to lose and hungry enough to want to win, even in the face of adversity. This makes really interesting skills to interview for, and a series of really interesting questions and dialogue to be had. So leadership, what traits do we look for? What qualities do you need to lead this way? You need to be a connector, a communicator with clarity, have really clear strategic thinking, be a strategist, visionary, logic, realistic, idealistic, founded in the practical, risk taker, reflective, critical thinker, creator, change leader. A leader who understands that people need to know why, a leader who takes the time to sit and see what is going on, a leader who can connect the dots and then go shoulder to shoulder with their team in the trenches, a leader who can go down unusual and unnavigated paths, someone who is founded in successful practice but has the willingness to take risks and try new. If you're someone that bowls with the guardrails up, perhaps there are other opportunities to lead in other settings. Leading in this environment takes a different set of leadership skills to other scenarios. During COVID, leaders who offered compliance and stability were certainly needed. It took agility, but really leaders needed to be safe havens in offering routine. They needed to be predictable and very conforming. These skills were critical. However, in a disruptive leadership environment, there is a need for a different skill set. It is absolutely the environment to try new and to not get caught up in being right or doing what everybody else is doing. You can afford to worry about what people think. Sorry, you can't afford to worry about what people think. It is about being slightly non-conformist and at times not necessarily popular. In this, I don't mean concern yourself with, in this, I don't mean don't concern yourself with people and their needs and their beliefs. You have to always have this as your priority, and this has to be a consideration. But to disrupt, you need to go beyond what others think, to stand in the face of norms and conforming, and to go into zones of fun and different. All of this takes guts. It means being brave. To be successful, though, you need to be grounded in strategic thinking, communication, and the business of bringing people with you, not in sales, not in convincing people or pitching an idea, rather in building credibility with your authenticity, building confidence and trust, working on opening mindsets and helping people to see that different can be an interesting journey. It is not smooth sailing. It is a roller coaster. It is unpredictable, but it can be exhilarating too. What environment do you need to excel, to shine? Are you brave enough to dance like no one is watching, to lead without worrying about what people think?